Hello, Word Nerds! Welcome back to the Sunday special. This week we are talking about why we love YA, which is, I think, something we could just talk about all the time. So this should be a pretty good chat. We're going to kick things off kind of talking about each of us listing one of the YA books we have recently read and loved, because I figure if we do all-time favorite, we'll get a lot of repeats, and I'm sure we have a lot of books to discuss today. So, starting with Desiree, what is a recent book you have loved and why?
Well, the most recent YA book I read is one that I've read 15 times, and that's Fangirl.
That was the one I thought was going to come up a lot on the all-time favorite.
Yeah, it is my all-time favorite book. I love it. It's literally the best. I love it because Catherine is literally the most relatable character ever written.
Mm-hmm. And Erin?
Oh, is this favorite of all time YA
No,
book?
favorite
recent. Oh, recent. Okay, I need to pay more attention. Oh, that's a really hard one. What did I just read? I don't know. I really liked The Weight of Feathers that I just read. The ending was a bit weird for me, and in places it was more literary type than I was used to reading. I'm more of a commercial reader, but I thought it was really compelling and it kept me reading, so I really enjoyed that one.
And Rachel?
Oh, I have to say a lot of the stuff that I've been reading lately has not been very good. I haven't been too impressed with anything. But I am going to say that just because Erin gave them back to me recently, I'm going to say Angel Fall by Susan E. Just because I was like, yes, I have them back, because I lent them to her. And now they are back.
I kept them forever.
Yeah, seriously. And then,
sorry.
No, it's all good. I'm so happy you like them. But I was just looking at them again just yesterday, because it's like, yes, they're back and wonderful and creepy and weird, and everyone should read them because they're just so different and outside the box and terrifying without being terrifying.
Such a good series.
Megan.
So good.
I recently read The Wrath and the Dawn, and that there were, I can only think of one or two things that I didn't like in it, and it was mostly just I wish this had gone on longer. So
I love that book.
yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading The Rose and the Dagger. So
I recently read the first two books in the Winner's Curse trilogy by Marie Rutowski, which I'm really enjoying. The second one was a little slower, but it's a really great example of that teenage girl changes the world thing that I love in YA. So
that's awesome. I just bought that, so that makes me happy to hear you say that.
I've heard weird things about the third one, some mixed reviews, and I haven't read it yet, but I'll probably finish that off soon. So yeah, we love YA. I think Fangirl might be a pretty good place to start for examples of why we love YA, and it's even kind of new adult, but it's YA.
Yeah.
The voices.
It's the best book ever written, ever.
There's that. I would have listed it as my favorite YA book of all time for sure as well.
I love it.
For me.
I think I've written 3 essays on this book before for various classes. So it's safe to say that I like Fangirl a lot.
It's also in your intro.
Yes, it is. Because I like it a lot. If I had to, if my house were burning down and I could only take one book, it would be Fangirl. All of my copies, because I have 4 copies.
Whoa.
I really like this book.
You are one of those people.
So if you had to wrap it down to why you really like what about Fangirl was all hey, this book speaks to my soul?
The how relatable Catherine was the immediate thing that drew me to Fangirl, because she's the typical nerdy English major college student. And I am a nerdy college student that is an English major. So just the things that she did and the reasons behind the things that she did, I really related to. The situation was her family, because I grew up in a single-parent household too. I don't have any siblings like she does, but everything about Catherine, every single detail of her character development was so strong and so relatable.
I need to reread it.
I
Yeah.
think another thing is like the
Same.
idea of the strong female character is very prevalent right now, and I love that Kath isn't the typical strong female character, and she does become
Right.
stronger because she kind of grows into herself, but at the very beginning, like, she's very nervous and she doesn't know how to deal with a lot of people, and I think that is what a lot of people are like, so it's really easy to relate to her instead of some, you know, kick-ass sword-wielding fantasy girl. And I think that's why a lot of people like her. And I mean, that's why I like her, because it's like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, she's a writer too. Hey, she has anxiety too. Oh wow, you know, I would love to go to that writing class. Like, it's just so normal.
She's a perfect human. Like, she's the perfect human.
It really did make me want to experience the typical kind of college, I guess, experience in like the dorm rooms and meeting people and just like you said, I want to be in that writing class. Like, I very much had that. It felt very real and like something that you could actually experience in real life. And I don't know. And then there's the part with the plagiarizer guy made me so mad. It's like, I feel angry on her behalf. And if you're a writer, you'll get how angry, you know, why you would be like that if something like that happened to you in real life. It's just like, my emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's characters who you love because you want to be them, and those are typically like the sword-wielding, kick-ass characters who are just taking names, you know? And then there's characters who you are, and so you read them and you're like, I have done that, that is me.
Identify with that, yeah.
Yeah.
And those are harder to find.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Well, there's a really good book, I cannot remember who it's by, but it's called The Truth About Alice, and I really enjoyed
it's
that as
Jennifer
a
Matthew.
contemporary. Jennifer Matthew, thank you.
welcome.
Just because it's like, yeah. Just because it's a book where there is an incident and then 4 people tell their point of view on it. And it's these, Alice apparently was, you know, fooling around with these 2 guys at a party, and so everyone thinks of her in a certain way, and then certain people are like, oh, well, that's not actually what happened, like, this is my perspective on it, this is my perspective on it. And that's why I really enjoyed that book, was because it was so many different people. And of course, if you talk to someone about a circumstance that's very different than someone else's, and each person had an own thing going on in their lives. I think one girl was like dieting a whole bunch because her mom was making her, another one was really stressed about grades, and that was what made it so great, was because I was like, I can relate with every single person, and not just because, oh, they're a girl and I'm a girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the like YA heroines I read, I'd be super intimidated if I met them in real life. I'd just be like, you do your thing, I'm gonna be here.
I'm just gonna watch you.
Yeah.
They're pretty intense sometimes. Before I forget, Megan, you mentioned we had a question that someone got in super early.
Oh yeah, someone asked a question on Twitter, and I'm not positive if it was meant for this chat, but we're going to use it for this chat. Xander Foland asked, rebellion is a pillar in the construct of YA, but fighting, rule-breaking, sex, drugs, murder, where's the line? Is there one?
That's hard for me because it's funny because I mostly read fantasy, dystopian, science fiction. So when he said rebellion, I was like, oh yeah, like rebellion, as in like rebel against the capital, like, form a rebellion and take the evil king down. I was like, oh no, like typical teenage rebellion. There's not as much that, like, in the stuff that I read, there's not as much like drugs and sex type rebellion as there is like taking down tyrannical leader rebellion. So
Well, I noticed there are more sex, drugs, and rebellion in new adult stuff, just because I've been reading a couple more of those lately. And the last one I read was really dark, and that had to do with all 3 of those things. So I think it's just why it's slightly less mentioned. Maybe it's because people aren't getting into that, or
yeah, it depends on the like. It depends on the genre, though. Like, I'm sure that there's quite a bit of that in contemporary, whereas the stuff that I think a lot of us read is more slanted towards fantasy. And I also think in new adult that I wouldn't classify that as rebellion as much as like exploration, because a lot of time you're out of the house and in college, and you're not necessarily rebelling against. I mean, I guess maybe rebelling against the idea of your parents, but they're not really controlling your life anymore,
Right.
unless you're still living with them. Like I rebelled at like 20 because I was still in the basement suite. Like, so.
And I don't think there's a line like of something that you can't do in YA, but like the harder, darker stuff is definitely more of the like realm of the issue books. Like if it's going to be about hardcore drug use or anorexia or rape or anything really dark, that book is very much labeled. It's about this, going in.
Yeah.
Like it's not just a thing that happens on the side.
Yeah, and it's not to say that you can't have something like rape in a genre book or a book that is more on the commercial side, but at the same time you have to be careful how you treat it, because a lot of the time, I've seen books that are there, it's just a plot thing for the author. It seems like it's just in for shock value, and it's not really dealt with properly, like, or even just, not just, but even sexual assault where it's not actually rape, but it would be traumatizing, and the characters maybe like for 5 seconds afterwards, well, that was icky, and then they move on with the plot, and I'm like, no. There's a lot more fallout after that, so.
Right.
Yeah.
I was going to say...
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was just going to say that there's not a line, like, in literature in general, but in YA, there's not really a line, but you have to be careful because you have such a wide range of ages that read YA. Like, I started reading YA books at, like, 11, so...
But same for me.
Yeah.
So, like, your target audience might be, like, a 16-year-old, but 11-year-old is probably going to pick up your book too. So a lot of the darker stuff gets more into new adult and adults.
Yeah, and that's even from the marketing side. Like publishers are less likely to pick up that darker stuff because libraries won't buy them because they can be picked up by any age, and so even less logistically and more just realistically, people don't put as much of that really dark stuff in YA.
Yeah,
but I think we're seeing more and more of it over time.
Yeah.
Well, another part of that is that same thing with, I suppose, music, is that a lot of people, when they pick up a book, they just want to read about something like happy and nice and, oh, that was a nice story. They don't really want to think too hard about issues like that, which could possibly be another reason why people might, kind of shy away from deeper topics, because if you are a contemporary romance writer, you're like, I just want a happy, fun, happily ever after story and don't want to think too much. And if you do want to think too much, then you go to like Stephen King. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's interesting, someone made the point earlier about being careful what you put in books because of librarians and stuff, or school teachers not assigning that for reading or in school, or like the librarian isn't going to order it in. And that's something to definitely think about if you're thinking about publishing traditionally and getting your books stocked in public schools and in libraries and such. But that's also something that I don't think let it, if I said, okay, it's really important for my book to have this rape scene, I don't think that I would necessarily let that stop me from writing about it either, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, is that, like, in my opinion, there's really nothing that you can't put in a YA novel. And I think one of the things I love about YA is that there are so many genres of it that, like, if you want a contemporary romance, you can find a contemporary romance, and if you're looking for darker things, you can find the darker things. I think the big thing is that the dark things in YA, the focus is a little shifted from, like, dark things in new adult or adult, to where, like, if there's a lot of sexing, all the sex is happening. The focus is more on, like, the emotions of the sex rather than, like, the mechanics of the sex or, like, the mechanics of using the drugs. It's less about that and more about, like, the feelings of it, what's happening, what's going on socially that's facilitating it. So things are less clinical, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, a good example of that is the fade to black that a lot of the YA books do. Like, you know what's going on, but I mean, if you really want to fool yourself into thinking it's not going on, it's not that far of a stretch for you to be like, oh, they're just cuddling in bed. You know, like Divergent is a good example.
Yeah, that's what
of
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
fade to black. Yeah. Like, if you wanted to, you could be like, whoosh, nope, didn't happen.
Yeah, everyone's like,
Didn't happen.
No, I just think it just comes down to like knowing enough about the subject, whether it be drugs or rape or whatever it is, to treat it respectfully, and how you portray it. I know it's funny because something about this sort of subject. I was just flicking through Netflix today, and it was like Diary of a Teenage Girl, and the description was just like, what? Because it was like, oh, she like has a passionate love affair with her mother's lover or something, and like, oh,
That's your
it may
typical
not be
teenage girl then.
yeah, okay, and it said apparently like, oh, it may not be the healthiest relationship, but it helped her awaken who she is, and I'm like, excuse me, like,
okay then.
Whoa.
the description is terrible, and I'm like, but the movie could be either like something that is sort of tragic but needed in the genre, or something that goes terribly wrong.
Yeah.
You know, because
Yeah.
it could be like, you know, I don't know. It's hard to explain. That's just such a weird, touchy subject where you just have to do it really well and really respectfully if you're going to. Like,
Ellen
this
Hopkins
conversation
does
took a dark
a
turn.
really good job.
Oh, yeah. Ellen Hopkins.
Ellen Hopkins does a really good job of like dark YA.
mhm.
I love all
That's
of her
the
books. They're
Brendan
amazing.
Crank, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah. I never ended up reading those.
Yeah, I haven't either.
they're very good. I highly suggest them.
Aren't they written in prose or part poetry?
Yeah.
Yeah, the verse
okay.
thing throws me.
Yeah, I think that's why I didn't pick it up, because I was like, this is weird, and then I just never
Yeah,
looked
I
at
do
it.
that.
But she's what I very much think of as like, and I know she's great, but like issue books, like this one's about this dark subject, and this one's about this dark subject.
Yeah,
So.
Mhm.
it's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Veronica Roth got, oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, if you're putting those heavy subjects into, that's why I don't really put those heavy subjects oftentimes into genre fiction, because then your book does almost become an issue book. And if it doesn't, it might be an issue if it doesn't become like sort of wrapped around what happened, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, then it
Depending
says
on
you
how
have any
you do it.
kind of issue in it, that it's automatically an issue book, and it can't be
Yeah.
any kind of other genre.
Well,
and
it's
you're
hard
like,
to have that balance, because you can't just dismiss it. You can't just dismiss it and move on with the plot, like I've seen so many books do.
Mhm.
But at the same time, maybe you don't want it to be an issue book. So I honestly don't know how I would balance that. You know?
Yeah.
Can you guys think of any good books that do balance that in an actual genre book? Because I can't right now.
I'm not looking at my bookshelf, so no.
I think a lot of it has to do too, like, with reception of it, because like I could write a book that like isn't in my head an issue book at all, but if it's received that way, then like I don't have any control over that anymore.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Well, I know there was one. It was not YA, but it was like the Thomas Covenant series or something. It was a high fantasy where the guy actually he's the one that commits the rape, and he's the main character. And I read through like half of that, and I was like, nope, I cannot do this, because he, like, the instant he did that, he's like no longer a sympathetic character to me. Like, and a lot of people had a problem with that, but it was still like he's plagued by guilt for the rest of the book, right? So it does become an issue within that fantasy series. But at the same time, I didn't continue reading, so I don't really know how the author handled the rest of it, because I was just like, he's just so not sympathetic to me anymore. I kind of just want to punch him the whole time. So
Yeah.
that's the one thing I can think of.
We had a question in the comments about Veronica Roth's new book that's coming
I'm
out,
so excited.
asking if we thought that fans will read things from her after the backlash? Like, do you think people who didn't like Allegiant will be able to forgive her enough to try the new one?
Well, I'm gonna buy it.
Well,
So.
I was gonna say I'm one of the ones that didn't. I'm not like crazy enough to go on Twitter and yell at her for the ending, but I was mad about the ending. But I think I'll still probably try it. I'll probably still buy it. I don't know.
Well, I'm wondering,
I like the
like, some of us were talking when the sample chapter came out.
Yeah, I have feels about that.
We pretty universally didn't like it. So I'm wondering, are we like biased? Because I still feel a little like, I don't know if I can trust you to tell me a good story. I don't think so either. I think I just didn't like it. But I'm trying to be open-minded. Like, maybe I was just feeling angsty about it. I don't know.
I don't think so, because I was thinking, like, when I read it, because I can't remember which one of you sent it, but I was like, oh, Veronica Roth, and excited. But a lot of the times when I'm reading excerpts online, I'm still looking at it through, like, the intern lens, you know, like, oh, a sample chapter. And it was very much like, if this was in my inbox, I'd be like, I don't know. You know, like, I wasn't drawn in by this, even though the writing's pretty decent.
It's a lot of backstory.
Yeah, I would have written the author maybe and been like, hey, can you get rid of some of the backstory? Weave it in later.
I love the cover of it.
I know, the cover's so pretty.
And I do still want to try and read the first couple of chapters, because the sample chapter was chapter 7. And so it's like there were all these names, and it was like, I don't know who any of these people are.
I don't know
what
weird
names, and I don't know what's going on, and I couldn't even finish it. Like,
why would you put random chapter 7 in there?
That's what we were wondering.
I might read it. I don't like Veronica Roth, though. I didn't like the Divergent series. I know, unpopular opinion, but I like her like style. I just didn't like the story of Divergent. So maybe I'll give it a shot.
If the reviews are good, I'll probably end up reading it, and I want to like it. Like, there's a lot to be said for the fact that she's one of the first ones to have one of those big blockbuster series and then put something else out.
Yeah.
Because like Stephanie Meyer didn't, J.K. Rowling didn't, like in terms of YA. So she's actually putting another series out there before anyone else of that caliber, so that's worth something, but not going to be good.
Well, I think it's
Stephanie Meyer
just stop, right? Because like some authors, like I mean, J.K. Rowling gets different because she has 7 books, but at the same time, people could just be like, well, you know, I wrote a $1 million series, I'm done. You know, peace out, world.
Well, I know, like L.J. Smith didn't, but I know Stephanie Meyers wrote The Host, and then like a couple of other companion novels.
I think The Host was before Twilight was finished.
Oh, okay.
So once Twilight was done, she kind of tapped out.
Yeah, she also, but she did write one from Edward's point of view, and then another, The Short Second Life of Bree Tanner. So she just kept going with the with the series. But I don't know. I would so badly want to switch to something different, like a whole new universe after that. So I don't know why. Like I understand why she kept milking the series, because probably the publishers were like, hey. Nudge wink, but like, why you wouldn't just write something else? Maybe she is.
There's like Cassandra Clare, who has a gajillion books out all in the same world, because the world is so intricate. But then you also have like Maggie Stiefvater, who has the Shiver series, she has the Raven Boy, she has the Scorpio races. Like she just has all these different worlds. So I guess you could just decide what to do if you wanted to keep going and expand a universe like Harry Potter or something like that, or if you wanted to just move on and just keep writing a whole bunch of different things, which is kind of me. I don't really have anything that I'm like, oh yes, I'm going to stick with this for 7 books. I'm like, right, thing that has to do with this mythology, this hospital patients, and this all stuff.
It's hard when your fans won't let it go too, right? Like the Harry Potter fans are like, OMG, give us more in the Harry Potter world, and JK is probably like, no, thank you. Can we move on from this? 7 books weren't enough for you guys.
There is a part of me too that feels kind of like I owe Veronica Roth something, because hers was the first author website that I like really delved into when I first decided I was gonna write. Like hers was the first one that really chronicled her process of getting an agent and getting a book deal, and I was like, oh, I can do that. She was like 20 when she got that book deal.
Oh my god.
I can do it in a year.
20.
What have I done with my life?
Go away, Veronica Roth. Ugh. Awful.
I'm rooting for her. I'm just not super optimistic about this particular book.
Yeah. Well, the sample wasn't great, but I'm hoping the beginning chapters are better, because it was chapter 7, which is so weird. So weird.
Very weird.
Yeah. But I love the cover enough. to
Yes.
consider paying money.
I need it on my shelf.
on my shelf.
Yeah. If a bunch of you guys like it, then I'm in.
Yeah.
Should we do the favorite series of
see.
all time? Favorite book of all time? Anybody?
Oh my gosh, I have to look
I
at my
haven't talked
book.
to you about that earlier.
I mean, you guys already know my favorite YA book of all time, so
Yeah.
I can take my second favorite.
Can't see it, Desiree. You're gonna have to branch out for this one.
Fine.
That's so hard though.
Well, it doesn't have to be just one. Just like name something you really, really liked.
All I can think about is Fangirl, so hold on a second.
Clear your brain of all
Look at
fangirls.
There was someone in the comments who mentioned, hang on, let me pull it up. It was Janessa mentioned the Darkest Powers series by Kelly Armstrong,
Yes.
and I love
Oh my
that
God.
series.
I love that series.
That was
Yeah.
I think one of the first YA series I ever read ever, and I was like 11 or
Yeah,
12.
it was one of the first ones I got super
Man.
into.
Mhm.
See, I didn't read it until I got to high school. I think I was a sophomore in high school when I first read it. And I read the first one and I immediately became obsessed. I was like, well, this is it. This is what good books are. I don't need to ever read it again.
Yeah.
That's
That's so
love it.
funny because I was like in high school when it came out. I was like almost done with high school when it came out. I was like, wait, how long?
I think one of my favorites is the Gail Carriger's YA series. She has 2 out now.
Oh, the Parasol. Oh God, what's it
No,
called?
the
Parasol
Parasol
Protectorate?
Protectorate, that's her adult series.
Oh, whoops.
Her adult series is like Etiquette and Espionage.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
The cool
Yeah.
poses. I love those covers.
With crossbows and guns and stuff.
These ones.
Yes.
Yeah. They're so pretty.
I've only read the first one and I really enjoyed it.
I have arcs of the first few, but now I'm almost like waiting because I feel like Erin will pick that when we finally do the book swap of like favorite books. So,
I got this one signed.
Oh.
Is that at Yaw Fest?
Cool,
Yes.
cool.
When I totally forgot to ask her for a picture and then was freaking out. Which one of you dragged me back in there? I can't remember which one.
What's
But
it
I
mean?
did.
I was there, but there was someone else who went with you. I feel like Emma.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I feel like it
Emma.
was Emma.
Maybe.
Because I think me and Erica were waiting for Kira.
Yeah, because I was like too afraid. I was like, I feel so dumb. I wanted a picture and I forgot to ask her. And I think it was Emma that was like, she was so nice. Just go in and ask her. But I'm afraid. So intimidated by big authors.
Yeah, and she's so well dressed. I'm
She is.
intimidated
Oh my
by people
God.
who are really well dressed.
She has a cool hat on. How do I talk to her? It was the same with
The whole thing.
I know, the tea gloves. It was the same with Lemony Snicket. I was so intimidated by him that I so badly wanted to go up and like just say hi, but I'm like, I'm gonna freeze. I'm just gonna make like weird fish faces and then like not be able to say anything out of my mouth.
Yeah.
That's how it's gonna go. So I didn't.
That's roughly how it went when I met Elizabeth Wine. We like stared at each other, and I handed her my book, and she looked at me, and I looked at her, and I was like, I love your book. I tell everyone to read it.
That was me with Cassandra Clare and Holly Black. The worst thing was like, I went and I was like, and they were signing my books and like kind of talking to each other a bit. And I was just like standing there like looking between the two of them with this weird frozen grin on my face. Like, what do I say? What do I say? What do I say? And then Rachel comes afterwards and she's just like chatting with them and like Cassandra Clare is just like, oh, you look like my idea of Clary. And I'm like, I want to shoot myself in the face. Why are you good at talking to people?
They came to the bookstore that I work at, and they were doing a signing. So Erin was like, "You need to come to this," and I was like, "Oh my God, I do!"
Yeah.
So we went together, and
So
it was
amazing.
super fun. But they were really, really cool. But yeah, that was funny afterward. Erin's like, I don't know, I just froze. I just like stared at them.
I didn't
Like,
say
really.
anything, I just froze up. Dang it.
Me, on the other hand, I'm like, I didn't have anything to say to them because I got into the line, and then I just got so starstruck. But I was like, Rachel, say something. You have the opportunity to talk to these people. You need to say something.
Next time I'm just gonna
black
come
on
up with
her necklace and.
There you go. See, that's what I need to do. Next time I'm just gonna come up with like a line. Like I'm trying to pick them up or
I
something.
think I talked to her about fairies. I talked to her about my love of fairies. And then I had a unicorn sweater on, so she like told me that she really liked it. And then I talked to her about her necklace, and then Cassandra Clare, I was just like, oh, it's so cool, because like, you know, redheads unite or whatever. And then she was like, you know, you look like how Clary looks in my head. And I just flipped out.
You were like
on the outside. I was like, I'm Mason Tom. And then I got back and then
half hour. on the like SkyTrain back, you're like, Jason, I look like Clary. I know, you said that 6 times.
Hey, look, it's a very exciting moment in my life, okay?
It's pretty awesome when an author.
It's all downhill from here, really.
Character.
Yeah.
Best point of your life.
Yeah.
That's another one of the big things you can point to, like why YA is so great, because there's this huge community around it where people actually go out and interact with authors, and there are festivals where you can just meet YA authors and talk to people who love YA. Like, I know so many people have gone to so many different signings versus, like, people who love adult authors. You'll go to this, like, one author every once in a while. It's totally different with YA. Just everything is about being in love with YA, which is just so much fun.
Yeah, and Y'all Fest was amazing. Like, Libba Brave rocking it up on stage. Like, you're actually in a band. Like, what?
One day I will go to Y'all
How
Fest.
did you get so awesome?
I know. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I need to go to Y'all Fest.
Yeah. And even, like, the online community is so awesome. Like, huge authors aside, like, most YA authors, you can tweet at them and be like, I loved your book, and they'll reply. And it's crazy.
Yeah.
The first time...
the other day about... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say the first time that Rainbow Royale, like, tweeted me back, I thought I was going to die. I was like, oh my god, what is happening right now?
Well, I was talking to
in my life.
I was talking to a coworker about YouTube channels like that do YA stuff, and she's older than me. She's in like her 40s, and she was saying that she likes to watch a lot of like Pull and Banana books and Catty-tastic and like all these things. But there was not anything for adult books. Because she was saying, like, she's like, oh yeah, I want to like read some stuff, and she's like, but I don't want to see YA stuff. I just want to see like regular fiction. And she said there isn't anywhere that has that. So I was saying like, oh, you should start one kind of thing. So I'm like, trying to convince her to start a YouTube channel.
Yes.
But I'm like, other than I want to say Peruse Project, Regan, she sometimes does like regular fantasy and regular fiction stuff. But other than that, everyone else is just strictly YA. There isn't anything else. In that way, it's a fantastic community. Fantastic community.
YA is the best.
Totally.
Yeah, because YA is the best. A long time ago on my own channel, I did a video about why I like reading YA, because there is that big stigma about like, oh, you read YA novels, like why don't you read a real novel? And one of the things I made was just, I think I connect to it more, not necessarily just because I'm that age group, but just because it always seems the stakes are higher and it's more fast-paced and there's more excitement. It's a little bit more fantastical than just regular fiction. And I don't know why. I can't put my finger on it, but I just think it is.
Yeah, I think it's a pacing thing for me. Like, it feels like YA books just, you're in it more. It moves. It just, like, there's not a lot of, like, navel-gazing kind of stuff. YA is always just, we're going and we're going now.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, the other day, at the bookstore I work at, I also work at Indigo, like Rachel as well, and there was a lady in that wanted more John Green books, and I was like, oh yeah, they're just in the teen section. And she goes, no, John Green, like the one I read it's not a teen book. I'm like, no, it is. It's YA. She's like, no, I'm pretty sure it's not. And she had read the Stars one. What the heck? Wow. Thank you. I'm like, why?
Well done.
Yeah, and I was like, The Fault in Our Stars. Yeah, it's a teen book. She's like, what? So I'm like looking it up on the kiosk for her, and she like cannot believe it's a YA book. And she's like, oh, it is in the teen section. Oh my god, I can't believe it. And she's laughing. Can't believe it. I'm reading YA, and I'm like, why is that so funny? I got YA constantly. Yeah, she was like fighting me on this. I'm like, no, sorry, it is YA. Like, I can't believe I'm reading teen books. Okay, lady, welcome to the world of YA. You love it.
Exactly. Well, it's so fun when people that aren't teens come up with YA books, and I'm with the cash, and I'm like, is this for you, or is this for like someone? I'm like, oh no, it's for me. I'm like, you freaking go. Let's fangirl right now. You're
Yeah,
gonna
the better
love
part is when I'm reading like middle grade books or younger. Like I actually like there's this thing at when you work at Indigo, you can borrow books. And I borrowed one of these like really young books. It was like a chapter book basically, younger than middle grade. And like when I checked it out, they were like giving me these really strange looks. I'm like, it's not for a sibling, it's for me. But you know what? Whatever. It's fine.
Yeah, you can read whatever you want to read.
Yeah, I'm researching for my writing. Okay.
Exactly, it's research.
And it was an adorable story with awesome pictures. So
Which one?
Autoline, it's called. The Autoline
That's
series.
so cute.
They're so
I haven't heard of that
adorable.
one. I'll have to go look it up.
You should. It's amazing.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll be in the YA section though at like Barnes and Noble or whatever, and I'll see other people there looking at books that I like, and it's like I want to be your friend, but you could be my age and have a young face, or you could be 15, and I don't want to be creepy, but I want to be your friend.
Go for it. Go for it, man. Just like if someone's there and they're reading something you like, just be like, excuse me, that book is awesome, and you definitely should read that. I've done that so many
Start
times.
with like, excuse me, are you 15 or not?
Excuse me, would you like to come over to my house and be my friend?
And then the mom comes around the corner. Don't talk to strangers. Really strange strangers.
I'll just hold like a business card with just my Twitter handle on it. Be my Twitter friend.
There you go. That's fine.
No one gets mad about their kids on Twitter, typically.
Exactly. Well, it's like always so fun when you see other people in the teen section or just in the YA section, like picking up a book, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I like that book too. Do you want any friends?
Like creeping between the books, like, are you gonna get that one?
You just pop up over the bookshelves, like, you should buy that one. It's really good.
Don't put that back. That's a big mistake.
I have legit done that before, and that's terrible because I work at a bookstore, so I should be selling books, but sometimes people pick one up and I'm like, don't get that one. It's really bad. Don't try it now.
You don't want to tell them it's really good and then have them come back later and be like, what the heck were you talking about?
I don't want to be promoting false advertising.
Exactly. You want them to be happy with what they've read.
Exactly.
I think it was like the Knife of Never Letting Go that someone was asking about. I was like, no, I really didn't like that one, but try this one. It was like his other book, was A Monster Calls. So I was like, this one's supposed to be really good.
Yes.
So like, still a sale for the author, but I'm not lying when I say I really didn't like that book.
Side note, have you guys seen the trailer for A Monster Calls?
No.
No.
Oh,
Like a
my
book
God.
trailer or
No,
a movie trailer?
Trailer. They're making it.
I did not know that.
Okay,
Awesome.
So one of my coworkers has been bullying me to read A Monster Calls forever, so I finally bought it, but I haven't read it yet. But I watched the trailer, and as someone who has not read the book, I almost cried. It was amazing. So you know that it's going to be epic. A Monster Calls? I have no idea.
This is the book.
That is the book.
Is it scary?
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
More eerie than scary.
Eerie,
Anybody
yeah.
that's watching, in the comments, leave down below in the comments about what you thought about it if you've read A Monster Calls, or if you've seen the trailer and just want to squee about it a little bit.
That was how it was described to me, as like kind of scary, but not really like gory scary or anything, but just like kind of eerie and whimsical.
That's good.
Does any
Solid rating on Goodreads.
Yeah, everyone's just going on and on and on about it.
Yes. We had a question in the comments from Leah asking if slash what we thought, aside from the age of the protagonist, like what makes a YA novel YA.
I always say first a lot of the time, like first love, first kiss, first one dealing with insert whatever here. A lot of the time, that's what I think when I think of YA. Not
Feels like a
always
voice thing to me. Like,
yeah, that too. And a pacing thing, like we were talking about before. It's not very often that a YA book like really, really drags. And if that is the case, then I usually don't like
I'd
it.
be reading more adult if it had more YA pacing. And maybe the voice to an extent. Like, because that's the part I really like about it. Like, I wouldn't mind exploring different areas in terms of, like, content, but I want that YA voice and pacing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As somebody who also reads, like,
why
adult
not
fantasy
more?
Oh, what? Sorry.
Oh no, it's the same. Well, I think this is not really bad, but YA novels seem more alive. The only way I can think of it to describe it, where it's like the voices in most, vibrant maybe is a good word. It's like the voices in regular fiction I find are just kind of like boring, or they drag, or they're dull. But like in YA, there's I guess pacing too. Like it's always exciting. There's always something new. There's always like emotions being expressed. It's always vibrant. Or
a lot of the time, it's very voicey. Whereas like I also read a lot of adult epic fantasy because I like, that's what I grew up reading as well, like Robert Jordan, that type of thing. And now I'm also reading Patrick Rothfuss, his series, which is another like very epic, hugely epic adult fantasy. And it's good too. I'm really enjoying it. But the difference, like I'll read that and then I'll go back to young adult. The difference is night and day because it's a very like formal kind of like it's still a good voice, but it's so different. Like,
I struggle with
young adult is just more.
now, though. Like that's what I grew up on as well, and I'm trying to read Mistborn, and it's killing me. Like, because it's just like, and I've heard it's so good, but like it's not going all that quickly.
You have to get back into it. I found that with Patrick Rothfuss. I'm saying that wrong, but like when I started the first book, it was like, oh God, this is a slog because I'm so used to young adult. When I got back into it, I got the kind of like got used to it again because that's what I grew up on, like you said. But you have to like sit down. It's a commitment. It's not the type of thing I would necessarily read on. It's not the type of thing I would start if I was like on a trip or on the bus or something. Like I already have to be into it and hooked to get back into it. Like
it feels harder to get hooked into. Like I don't feel like because the pacing is slower, like there's not a lot of that like urgency of I have to figure out what happens next because there's probably going to be like 8 chapters before anything happens next. Which I used to love, like the exploration of the
that didn't bother me at all when I was younger. I mean, like 3 pages of describing the surrounding countryside. Sometimes it seems like, and you're like, oh my God, I don't care. What was that cost?
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
that's a special.
Or Game of Thrones now of like. There's so
I've been
much
trying to get through the first one for so long, and I like what I'm reading.
I love it. Game of Thrones is awesome,
haven't started it because everyone's like, "Oh my God, read it! Everyone dies. I hate it." I'm like, "What?" No.
I just googled everyone who died, so I didn't get my expectations high for any of them.
That's just I just don't have any incentive. It's just so weird that everyone's like, read it, but I'm like, but you guys get so angry while you're reading / watching it. Why do I want to subject myself to this?
Because it's amazing.
It is. It's really good.
But yeah, I agree. Like I've been trying to read the first one forever, but I watched the show, and it some parts I'm just like I don't care. There's so much.
I love the show because it gets the pacing down to like what you really need to know, what's going to be relevant.
Right.
The book kind of.
What takes George R. Martin 4 years, 5 years to write one?
Many years.
All the years.
When the books are 3 inches thick, I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
The last one came out in like 2012, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Right. You're gonna have to kill some darlings and like actually not just like as a Reddit, like you're gonna have to kill some darlings, not just characters.
I feel like I'm the only person on Earth who has not seen or read that series.
I haven't seen any of it.
Really?
I've read most of book 1. So
I haven't read it at all. I've seen most of it.
Book 5 was July of 2011. And there's still no word on book 6. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm terrified that he's gonna die, and we're never gonna know what happens. It's a true fear.
Hopefully he have like a really elaborate, like Robert Jordan style outline, and then some hip young person can pick it up and
He's already told the HBO people what happens, so we will get
there. The show's gonna end before the book series does, and I'm
sure.
I'm mad about it.
We had a question in the comments from Lauren about how we felt about age category hopping. So like authors who write YA and new adult, or
I will say I write young adult and middle grade, so down instead of up. But I personally just have 2 separate pen names because I don't. Mainly, the only reason I do that is because my young adult stuff can be kind of edgier, and I don't want middle grade readers to then go, oh, E. Latimer has a bunch of other stuff, and then I'm going to read this, and oh my God, there's swears in it. So that's the reason I have pen names. But,
yeah, and your styles too are pretty different.
Very
like
different
writing style of each.
Yeah. So like that's an option, but I don't think there's even if you. I don't know if I would write both without pen names or not. What do you guys think about that?
Well, the example in the question was Victoria Schwab, who does.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I would, but I tend to typically write the same kinds of stories, and I have the same tone. I've tried my hand at a few different things. I still love YA the most and write that the most, but
yeah, and new adult and YA isn't. Yeah, and new adult and YA isn't too. I don't feel like there's as big of a divide as middle grade and YA or new adult and YA. As far as like subject matter and stuff goes, like they're still different, but not as different. And then if you're like Megan and you are like producing similar things, and your audience isn't going to go, "What the heck happened?" Then it's probably fine.
Yeah, I mean they'll probably still be thinking that, but it's just for a totally different reason. What am I reading right now? I don't know.
I mean, I think it's fine if like authors like age hop. Like I could never write middle grade because I don't know what like middle schoolers think about. So
because I was they're into these.
But I mean, if you like one genre, you're probably like one author's like YA, you're probably gonna like their middle grade or their new adult. At least that's my opinion. I don't know if that holds true for everyone, but
well, Lauren Oliver too. She jumps a lot.
Yeah. What does Lauren Oliver write that's not YA? I've never seen her write anything else.
She's written middle grade, YA, and adult.
What?
Wow. Vanishing Girls might have been.
What does she write that's not YA? She has Vanishing Girls, she has the Delirium series, and she has the.
She has a middle grade one.
Liesl and Poe?
The Spindlers and Liesl and Poe.
Same with Lauren DiStefano. She does YA and this is her middle grade.
Oh.
So
right.
Yeah, Lauren DiStefano. Yeah, 'cause she has the what's it called? The Chemical Garden series.
Yeah, Chemical Garden.
YA one. Yeah, and then this is her middle grade one. I'm actually a huge fan of the middle grade one because it has that very quirky, whimsical kind of voice. So that was a really good one.
Mm-hmm. For adults, Lauren Oliver wrote Rooms as well.
Okay.
Yeah, she's all over the place. She's doing very well.
Yeah, she is. Before I Fall, that was what the other one was called. There you go.
Oh, yeah. That one's good.
Yeah.
And Panic. I like that one a lot.
Oh, I forgot about Panic. Yeah, I never read Panic. I read all her other ones, but not Panic. But it did look cool. I really enjoyed Before I Fall and Vanishing Girls.
Oh. So yeah, we are pro. Just figure out how you want to do it, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, I like just having a game plan and figuring out if you want a pen name or you don't need one. Or yeah.
Erin's pen name is awesome. I love it so much.
Very witchy sounding.
Yeah. We had another question. Well, first of all, Jody gave some booktubers who do new adult and adult fiction down in the comments, so check that out if you're looking for something like that.
Ooh, thank you. Ooh. I will.
And then Lauren asked, what makes or breaks a YA book for you?
Pacing.
Yeah.
Just the pacing.
Yeah.
But that's for
Okay.
any book for me.
Yeah.
Like, if it's slow, I'm gonna put it down and never pick it up again.
Yeah.
That's
Same with
true.
voice. Because like the
Also,
voices in YA can have a very large range. So if they're, because you know some YA characters are kind of whiny because they're 14 or
Yes.
they fall in love with the boy next door or whatever. And
Like
some of them
America.
are like like seeing some stuff. Oh my god! Do not even freaking get me started on that series. Do not. So many issues. Okay. Anyway, but you know, some of them are been for 17 and like seen some things. So it kind of depends. But I would say voice is a major one for me.
One for me is I've noticed lately, especially because I read so much YA, if I'm finding, I don't mind cliches if they're done with a twist or there's only one or two, but if the story is completely full of YA cliches that I've seen over and over, then I'll get really frustrated with it. Like Rachel mentioned, whiny main character. That's one, like insta-love, and then like, she's usually got some kind of superpower, and if it's just all of those elements clumped together, and then on top of it, sometimes I find like the voice isn't very good. There's been a couple that I've picked up and been no, and then usually there's like a bad boy that's like has no redeeming qualities except for being hot, and she still likes him. So I've read a couple like that in the last year that I've just been like, you know what, I really like the author, but I can't handle this, and I have to put it down.
I think a big thing for me too, since I read so much like fantasy and paranormal, as opposed to like more contemporary, a huge thing for me is like suspension of disbelief. Like I don't like to have to suspend my disbelief too much. So like the worlds and stuff, and again, like Desiree said, that kind of goes for any book. But like everything has to match up and make sense. There need to be rules, and they need to be followed.
Yeah.
That's true. I'm trying to think of what else. Yeah, just voice too. Like if I really don't like the voice, if it really annoys me, I won't stick with it. The characters doesn't even have to be whiny or anything. Like when we were talking about what was the book we were talking about? That irritated me. The Naturals. Like I liked the story, but I found her voice very annoying, and I kept reading because I liked the story. But if the story had been different, I wouldn't at all have kept going.
Like that's how I feel about the Selection series. I hate America. I feel like she's the worst character that has ever been written.
Thank you. Okay.
The story was
just ruins redheads.
The story was interesting enough to keep me reading and keep buying the books, even though I could not stand America. So this was one of those instances.
I bought every single book, but I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate this, but I can't stop reading it.
And her daughter's even worse than she was, and I don't know how it's possible.
Edelyn, whatever the crap. Oh my god, I want to smack her with her own book. Sorry, I have some unresolved tension.
I'm hoping you meant the character and not the author. I'm assuming that.
Yeah. Kira Cass is so
Rachel,
nice.
do we have to have
anyone
words?
just like her?
And I like other characters. I just do not like her.
Kira Cass is a really good author, and because the story is so good.
It's so cool.
It's such a good story. It's such an interesting concept. It's just the characters. It's not even the character's voice. It's just the character herself.
Yeah. But I like other characters in that series.
Yeah.
It's just the main characters I don't.
Yeah, it's just.
I just admire the crap out of Kira Cass for her ability to completely master the art of microtension. Just blow my mind every time I reread that series or flip through it. I'm like, oh, the tension. And I don't even like The Bachelor. I'm really not a fan, so.
Neither am I. But that's such a good series.
That was good. Yeah. It's a good example of hating a character but having the story be so intriguing that you can't put it down.
I feel like the hate, the amount of dislike for America added to the story, you know? I don't know, maybe it's just me. But like in like some weird way, like oh my gosh, I hate America so much, but I really want her to win. Like
That's so
it's
true.
like that. Like it fuels the passion.
It does.
It's like, I cannot stand you! Please win! I wish you all the best in life, but I hate you.
Passion is what a lot of this, like, why we love YA comes down to. Because, like, I can't imagine people feeling this strongly about Stephen King books. Like, that having these kind of discussions and debating characters like this. And, like, people who love YA just really love YA. But not, like, YouTube chats endlessly. Like, this is not the first time that America has come up.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
That's true.
we had an entire chat just about her and her story.
We did, yes. That is true. I don't know. Stephen King looks like the wrong author to say in front of me because I think he has some really interesting characters, particularly in the Dome. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I think it does. But I don't think as many people feel as passionately about.
Well, not having internet chats repeatedly. I get it about it.
I'm not debating he's not a good writer or anything. Like, I still think there's a lot of great adult books out there, but people feel passionately about YA, which is just fantastic.
Yeah.
It's true, which can cause some interesting tension or backlash sometimes in the actual author community. Like, for example, with Veronica Roth at the end of her series, like the backlash on Twitter and stuff, because we are such passionate fans. That can cause craziness. I was really curious what the end of the Raven Boy series with Maggie would be like, and so far I've stayed away from her Twitter because I do not want to know. I do not want anyone to spoil it for me. But I assume no one's angry because I haven't seen anyone ranting yet. So
No. I predicted 4 possible endings, and it was one of the 4.
I still
that was really exciting.
I need to find the book. I can't believe I bought it and then lost it. I'm still so mad at myself.
You bought it and lost it?
Yes. In the same day. And I think I left it on the island. So there's no chance of getting it back.
Oh,
It's awesome. So I have to rebuy it.
I need to read this series so I can join in on these conversations.
Yes, you do.
yeah.
Because every time it's like, oh yeah, the Raven Boys, and I'm like, yeah, totally.
It's going to be super awkward, though, if you don't like it now. Because I know, like, Kyra doesn't like it.
I'm just gonna read like,
That's
they're
so
all
funny.
crazy. This is horrible. But I
have
hope
to pretend you liked it.
Yeah, I'll
Just kidding.
Just to blend in.
It was great.
Yeah, those characters, though.
Characters, they did the thing. It was awesome.
Sorry, I had to switch places. My laptop was running out of battery. So new angle, new exciting angle.
Wow.
Yay. There's a portrait behind you now. It's very exciting.
So artsy.
How Vanna White of you.
Modeling in full swing here.
Yeah. We had a question in the comments from Martha asking, what are each of our songs? Like in Helen's video, she described that one song that just gets you super pumped to write. So what is that for us?
Now I'm noticing, like, we did an hour, and we didn't even talk about, like, why we love writing YA.
Yeah.
We did a full hour on.
Oops. We should probably talk about that. Yeah. I don't know if I don't have one song.
I know a song that actually like always gets me pumped to write. The main song from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Nice.
I listen to it all the time when I start writing because I'm like,
Put a
yes.
fan in front of your face. Like, yes.
Yeah, it always gets me so hyped to write.
Whenever
So
there's some kind of
majestic.
heist, whenever there's some kind of heist or like something intense is happening, for some reason my brain always plays the Pirates of the Caribbean theme song.
Yeah.
I don't have one exact song I listen to though. It depends what I'm writing. So kind of everything.
All
I
the
think
songs.
Two Steps from Hell is one for me. Like anything from them, pretty epic. As well as Thomas Bergerson.
Oh, yes. That's very good.
He's very good.
I like listening to music with words, which is something that I haven't always liked, but I'm liking it now, so I'm going with it. And it changes a lot, mostly based on like music my husband finds, because he's the one who ventures out and finds new music for us. But recently, I think the one that gets me like really psyched to be productive is Hallelujah by Panic at the Disco. I've been jamming out to that one a lot
That
lately.
whole CD's pretty good.
Really good one.
Yeah. So I just like blast that really, really loud, and I'm like, yeah, say your prayers! And then I just sit down and write. I just go for it.
I thought of another really good song to listen to while writing. Castle by Halsey.
Oh,
It's
yes.
to write.
so good.
Oh
just
my
yes.
gosh, yes.
Write all the words.
I'd say Halsey is one of the main people I listen to, and Troye Sivan, a lot of Fall Out Boy, Digital Daggers, Two Steps from Hell are pretty good too for writing like really intense stuff. Oh, Halsey, man, so good.
So beautiful.
Love her so much.
I know. It's perfect.
All right. Well, I think we'll close up. with-
NF. You guys,
Go.
sorry, I'm really excited to share this with everyone. Does anyone know the rapper NF? Like literally the letter N and then F.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
I
his
think.
songs are amazing. They're so just emotional and deep, and his lyrics are just incredible. It helps you write, but then it also inspires you to write. His song Mansion and Breathe are two of my favorite songs in the entire world.
We'll have to look it up.
You definitely have to.
Yes.
So we are at about an hour now. We have one last question from Autumn, the writer, which I think will wrap things up pretty nicely. So, her question is basically recommendations on what to read, but we're gonna mix it up a little bit. If you had to someone's all like, "Oh, I'm thinking about maybe trying YA," what book would you recommend to them to get them hooked?
Fangirl.
Throne of Glass.
Shocking.
I know.
Yeah, Throne of Glass is a good one.
It's my staff pick now.
Nice. Or Angel Fall.
Yes, please. Actually, well, Angel Fall, to get you hooked into YA is a little bit different. I think you have to read YA for a while
true.
to get hooked into Angel Fall because it's dark as hell. It's wonderful,
That's
but
true.
it's very
It's not
dark and very
typical
creepy.
YA.
No, it's definitely not.
Or like anything by Cassandra Clare is a really good starting point.
That's
Like,
true,
her
yes.
novels.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Even
it's pretty typical
Huntley
YA.
Fitzpatrick or Jenny. Anything
What
like
is
cutesy, like
Fitzpatrick?
maybe Jennifer. Huntley Fitzpatrick or Jenny Kahn.
Thinking like Stephanie Perkins, like that, like cutesy,
Yeah.
like broader, like, because like Cassandra Clare and stuff, you have to like a very specific type of story. Whereas contemporary is a little safer if you don't like know your
Yeah, I
audience.
guess that's true.
Like Eleanor and
I'm
Park.
just so-
That's another good one.
Contemporary doesn't even like compute in my brain. I'm like, oh, that's an option. No.
Yeah, I think it does too depend on like who the person is
What they
that's
like.
asking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was like immediately I was like, oh, well, These Broken Stars is great, but like the second I thought it, I was like, well, not everyone likes sci-fi. But if you like sci-fi, These Broken Stars.
Yeah. So I think we can come up with like a recommendation in every possible subgenre.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
All right. Does anyone have any final thoughts, any final comments, or anything for why YA is amazing?
It
All the
is.
reasons.
It's
Just is.
amazing.
YA is amazing, and so are you.
Basically, if you're
I
here,
think-
you don't have to be convinced, but
Yeah. I think past everything we've talked about, like, pacing, characters, voice, all that, we talked, like, the community, and I have to agree that that is probably the best thing about YA. Like, just being able to talk to the authors, being able to watch videos like, the WordNerds, and watch other booktubers. It's just really, really awesome. And like no other genre really, like adult books don't really have that. Middle grade doesn't really have that. They have some, but YA just is great. This is awesome.
I don't think we could say it any better than that, so I guess we'll wrap there. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back next week with our book club for this month, which is This Side of Home by a person.
Hang on. I had it pulled up just a second ago. It is by Renee Watson.
This Side of Home by Renee Watson, which is contemporary, so we are stepping outside of our usual bubble a little bit, and it is a really quick read. I started it yesterday, and I finished it today, so there's definitely still time for you guys to read it and join us next week. Thank you so much for joining us. This was a lot of fun. Go read some YA books, and we will see you next week. Bye!
Bye!
Bye.